Shalom, 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 Israel. So I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna say, Call halal, Yahweh Bashem Mashiach Shah, Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Shah. All right, yeah, so today through the Spirit, we're going over some precepts dealing with women can do the work as it's just as well. Women can be on fire and do the work of the Lord as well. All right, we're gonna hop right into it through the Spirit. All right, Proverbs 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house. So every wise woman is going to build up her house, going to build up her household. Right? Let's get First Timothy 2. All right, 1 Timothy 2, verse 15. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing. All right, so a woman, it is good to have children. It's good to build up your house. Right? Most High said that women will be saved in childbearing. All right, this is Psalm chapter 127, verse 3. Right, lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. And so, children, that is a reward, that is a blessing from the Lord, man. All right, verse 4. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Right? Who doesn't want as many arrows as they can? If you're going to war, you want as many arrows, as many bullets as as you can have. Right? So children are arrows. All right, verse 5. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in this end, just in the gate. Right? So happy is the man that has a quiver full of arrows, aka a lot of children. Right? So it's good to bear children, right? Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith, right? So, if women, you got to be faithful in this thing, right? Charity, right? You got to have charity and holiness with sobriety, right? These are some mighty acts, man. All right, I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit, right? Genesis chapter 30, verse 1. And when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, Give me children, or else I die. All right, so it was a big deal to our righteous foremothers to have children, and to most high women have as many as they can. Right, that's the type of mindset that our sisters should be in these last days. Right, Proverbs 14, verse 1. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the fool plucketh it down. Right, so that's one of the mighty acts of women, especially a wise woman. She's going to build up her house, man. Make sure everybody has what they need. Build them up spiritually, right, mentally, right. Hey, kids should know how to pray. They should know how to read. They should know how to study. They should kind of dive into the Hebrew, right? They should know the precepts. They should know the law. They should know the commandments. They should know how to conduct themselves, right? Proverbs chapter 31, I think I'm on 27. Count Proverbs 31, verse 27. She looketh well to the ways of her household. It's a righteous woman, man. She's going to make sure in her household everybody has what they need. Whether it be her husband, her children, right? Making sure that they're built up through the Spirit, right? And just and just and eateth not the bread of idleness, right? So that's what a righteous woman is going to do. I'm gonna read verse 26. Right? She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Right? So she knows how to speak to people. She knows how to address her children. Right? She knows how to address her husband, and she knows what's going on in this thing. Right? We get into it though through the Spirit, man. Philippians 4. Right, because within this, it's not just mighty men of the Lord within these scriptures, man. You have a lot of mighty women within this thing as well, right? Especially within the New Testament, the quote unquote New Testament, right? We're going to go over some of the works, most high women of some of the mighty sisters, right? And things that they did. So, a most high woman, you can fashion yourself like these mighty women of the Lord, right? This is Philippians chapter 4, verse 3. And and thy entreat thee also, true yokefellow, help those women which labored with me in the gospel. And so Paul had women that were laboring with him, man. That doesn't mean they were bringing it out. That doesn't mean they were reading and quoting 2,000 precepts. That's not what that means. All right, so let's see how they were laboring through the Spirit. All right, Luke 8, verse 2. And certain women which had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils, and Joanna the wife of Chuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others, which ministered unto him of their substance. Right, so you have mighty women of the Lord, man, ministering to the saints, ministering to Yahushua, ministering to the apostles of their substance. Right, let's go into the Hebrew through the Spirit, the Greek. Let's see what it means when it says that they minister. Right, and this is what our women were doing. You know, these are the fellow laborers, man. As just as Paul said, right, true yoke fellows. Right, we go to this word ministered in the Greek. Right, it means to be a servant, attendant, to serve, to wait upon. And so, they were doing their thing through the Spirit, man, whether it was cooking, cleaning, washing, making up the beds, and things like that. Let's get that in, I believe that's First Kings. Yeah, that's First Kings, Second Kings, Second Kings 4, I think. Yeah, come on, Second Kings 4, verse 9. And she said unto her husband, Behold, now I perceive that this is an holy man of God, which passes by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in hither. Right? Hey, so this mighty woman of the Lord, right? You read about her in First Kings 17 and Second Kings. Of course, we're on the 4th chapter now. All right, this mighty woman of the Lord, man, she had a and she was kind of setting things up for Elisha, right? And she kind of made him she kind of set up him just a room. She was being very hospitable, right? Set him up a bed, a table, a candlestick, a stool, right? Giving him all that he needed through the Spirit, right? So, hey, that's a very mighty act, right? That's what it's going into when it says, which labor with me and the gospel, man. Because these men, they had to have a place to stay. Right, Yahweh said he didn't have a place to lay his head. He didn't have a consistent place to lay his head. So when you read Luke chapter 10, right, Yahweh told him, don't take any money with you, right? And if any city doesn't receive you, dust off your feet, right? Because a lot of times the mighty men and the mighty women of the Lord, specifically dealing with the women, right, they would make sure that the disciples, that the apostles had everything that they needed. Had the raiment, the food, the clothing, had the beds in order, right? Had the candlesticks and things like that. Make sure everything smelled nice. Make sure everything was looking nice through the Spirit, right? And that's how a lot of our mighty women of the Lord were laboring through the Spirit, right? With Clement also, and with other my fellow laborers whose names are in the book of life, right? So all praises to the Most High. All right, we're gonna get one way that women can labor through the Spirit, and be on fire for the Lord. All right, this is Exodus chapter 35. Exodus chapter 35, verse 25. And all the women that were wise-hearted did spin with their hands, man. Hey, they're making garments, man. They're putting stuff together through the Spirit, man. Hey, and the Lord called them women that were wise-hearted, man. Hey, we had a mighty sister in WFI Atlanta. Hey, she was putting on fringes for shirts for the Akim, and that's a mighty work through the Spirit, right? And then so the Lord will call her a woman that was wise-hearted, right? And brought that which they had spun, both of blue and of purple and of scarlet and of fine linen, and all the women whose hearts stirred them up in wisdom spun goat's hair, right? So, that's a mighty act through the Spirit, and the Most High will call a woman that's making garments, right? Sewing on fringes for herself, right? For her family, for her husband, and possibly for the Akim. The Most High will cause that woman wise-hearted, man, because that's a very mighty act to the Spirit. You also read about that in Proverbs chapter 31. All right, let's get Acts 9. All right, this is Acts chapter 9, verse 39. Then Peter arose and went with them. When he was come, they brought him into the upper chamber, and all the widows stood by him weeping, and shewing the coats and garments which Dorcas made. So this mighty woman of the Lord named Dorcas, she was making coats and garments, right, for the church, whether it was for the widows, whether it was for Peter and his disciples, right, aka the Lord's disciples, the Lord's apostles, for the church. And she could have been making coats and garments for the less fortunate, right? And this lady she was on fire, right? Showing the coats and garments which Dorcas made, man. So these were probably very, very beautiful, probably of very high quality, right? While she was with them, right? So they're kind of showing Peter her works, right? Showing Peter that, hey, this woman is on fire. You see the coats and the garments that she's making. Hey, Dorcas she is on fire for the Lord, right? So that's one of the ways, that women can labor for the Lord, man, is sewing up fringes, making fringes, putting together garments, right? Embroidering, right? And a multitude of things like that. All right, that's a very, very mighty act through the Spirit. Let's get another way in Luke chapter 2. All right, Luke chapter 2, verse number 36. And there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was of great age and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity, and she was a widow of about fourscore and 4 years, which departed not from the temple, but served the Most High with fasting and prayers day and night, man. And another mighty act is that women can fast and pray to the Lord, man. You can pray for a multitudes of things, first and foremost for yourself, for the nation, right? That the Most High can send more laborers, right? For mercy, for faith. If there's a multitude, we'd be sitting here all day going into the things that we can pray for, right? But this woman, Anna, who was a prophetess, right, is mentioned in the Bible, right? And then she was a night and day praying and fasting unto the Lord, man. That's a very, very mighty act through the Spirit. Let me get on Nehemiah chapter 3. Right, so Nehemiah chapter 3, verse 12. And next unto him repaired Shallum, the son of Halohesh, the ruler of the half part of Jerusalem, he and his daughters. Right, so when you read Nehemiah, the 3rd chapter, right, it's naming off people that were building up the wall, right, building up the walls of Jerusalem, right, and you see this man, he and his daughters built up the walls, man. We're helped building up the nation, right, spiritually, right, we're building up the walls, we're building up the protection for our people, right, so, women can do those type of things. Right, make sure brothers got fringes, right, hand warmers, especially when it's cold, right, gloves, jackets, sweatshirts, pants. Right, those are all mighty acts that women can do, man. It's not about just sitting there and looking pretty, right? That's not going to get you saved, right? Your works. Let me get Acts 5, faith and works. All right, this is Nehemiah chapter 5, verse 19. Think upon me, my God, for good. So you want the Most High to think of you for good, right? According to all that I have done for this people, man. And this isn't only for men. Men aren't the only one that can labor and produce good fruit. Women can do the same thing, man. That's what this video is meant to show, right? It's to give avenues for women to the work of the Lord, man. To go knock off sins, right? So the Most High women can have mercy upon them, right? And remember all of the good that they've done through the Spirit. Right, Psalms 18, verse 23, right? I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore hath the Lord recompensed me according to my righteousness, right? So, when time comes, when all hell breaks loose, and you want the Most High to have mercy upon you. Right now, we all want the Most High to have mercy upon us, right? And you want the Most High to recompense you according to your righteousness, right? According to the cleanness of my hands in His eyesight. With the merciful, thou wilt shew thyself merciful. With an upright man, thou wilt shew thyself upright. So, and you want to be upright with the other sisters, with the other men of the Lord. So, a Most High woman, the Most High can be upright with you. Right? You want to labor for the Lord, so a Most High woman, the Most High can protect you and keep you safe, keep your mind girded and strong in the spirit. Most High can keep you faithful, right? And not diving into diverse temptations and lust. Right? Those are all, that's these are some of the reasons why we do the works through the Spirit, man. It's because we want mercy from the Lord, right? It's not only for men that can do the works, right? Because men have a lot on our plates, right? First and foremost, you got to make sure yourself is straight through the Spirit. Make sure you're fasting, praying, studying. And then if you have if the Most High bless you with a household, and you got to make sure your household is sufficient, right? Whether it be monetarily, right? AKA financially, right? First and foremost, spiritually, and then brothers got to labor to go teach the people. Brothers got to study hard, man. Most High women, obtain wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be able to break down the word to your family and also to your people, to the nation, right? So, women also have a multitude of things they can do that is considered doing the work, and that our righteous foremothers did. Let's go to Romans 16. Right, Romans 16, verse 1. I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a servant of the church, which is at Syntyche. So Phoebe was a servant of the church, man. Whatever the church, whatever the body needed, Phoebe was there. Whether it was food, whether it was clothes, whatever they needed, Phoebe was there. She was a servant of the church, man. And Paul commended her. Paul commended her. Paul shouted out her in Romans the 16th chapter. All right, verse 2. That ye receive her in the Lord as becometh saints, and that ye assist her in whatsoever business she have need of you. For she have been a securer of many, and of myself also. So let's see what that word means in the Greek. Hey, she was a securer of many, and also Paul. Let's see what this word means. Woman set over others, a guardian, patron. She was a patron of the church, man, caring for the affairs of others and aiding them with resources, whether that was financially. And just as we said earlier, that's how we read in 2 Kings chapter 4, giving brothers places to lodge, right? If they were in town for a certain amount of time, if they were doing the work, they kind of came to the church and they kind of needed somewhere to stay. Hey, that's the type of thing she was doing, man, cooking for the Akim. Hey, so teasing the mighty acts. They got these women commended by Paul, right? And it says she was a securer of many, man, many. That's mighty, right? Romans chapter 16, verse 12. Salute Tryphenia and Tryphosa, who labor in the Lord. Salute the beloved Persis, which labored much in the Lord. Hey, so Tryphenia and Tryphosa, these are sisters. All right, I believe the name goes back and it means like luxury or like high quality, something to that extent. All right, like we can go see and prove, that they're sisters and that these are females, right? Because these are Greek names, that aren't too common. Right? Tryphenia. I believe it means luxury, high quality, something to that extent. Tryphenia, luxurious, right? And a Christian woman. And Paul commended her and her sister because they labored in the Lord, man. They were laboring. They were on fire for the Lord, man. And Tryphos, I believe it means consider aiding, right? A Christian woman. And so these women were on fire for the Lord, man. They were laboring for the Lord, man. Persis, a Christian woman at Rome. And it said, Perseus, it said, which labored much in the Lord. So she was on fire. She was laboring much, man. Laboring much. And that's mighty, man. All praises to the Most High. I'm going to 1 Corinthians 16. Right, 1 Corinthians 16, verse 15. I beseech you, brethren, ye know the house of Stephanus. So this is the house. This isn't just Stephanus. This is his whole household. This is his wife, or maybe wives, and Aaron's also his children, his servants and his stewards. That um, I beseech you, brethren, ye know the house of Stephanus, that it is the first fruits of Achaia, and that they have addicted themselves to the ministry of the saints, man. So the household, his whole household was addicted. Not just Stephanus was doing the work and everybody else was just chilling, kicked up, watching Netflix. Stephanus didn't go in his room, lock the door, was studying for 4 hours. Everybody else is doing their own thing, playing damn Uno and spades. And him and his whole household was on fire, man. They were probably praying together, studying together, fasting together, reading together, singing spiritual songs and praises to the Most High together. That's what a mighty household will be doing, especially within these last days. All right, I'm gonna get Exodus and close out soon. Right, Exodus chapter 15, verse number 20. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances, man. And so a sister moving in the spirit of Miriam, the prophetess, one of the mighty women of the Lord, right? Hey, if you know how to play instruments, if you know how to sing, a lot of sisters, they kind of know how to sing. If you know how to play instruments, you know how to sing, kind of get in that thing, right? Sing praises to the Lord. And this is actually pretty deep because Miriam did it, and next thing you know, it says, all the women went out after her. So a lot of times it just says one person. It takes one person to stand up, bold for the Lord, praise the Lord, no matter what nobody thinks, no matter how sisters feel, no matter, I don't know what is that I'm going to think. Yeah, you can't care about that, right? Because Miriam, she got her timbrel and went out, and then guess what happened? All the women went out after her with timbrel and with dances, right? Verse 21. And Miriam answered them, sing ye to Yahweh, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The, the the horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. Right, so a women that the Most High blessed with beautiful voices, right? You may be talented with an instrument, you may be talented with the piano, with the clarinet, the damn tambourines, anything, the flute, anything, right? Use it to praise and sing unto the Most High God. Let's get that in 1 Samuel chapter 8. All right, 1 Samuel chapter 8, verse, let's see. So like I thought it was 8. Bear with me. Or maybe 16. Salakia. I'm gonna find this real quick. 1 Samuel 18. Salak. 1 Samuel 18, verse number 7. And the women answered one another as they played. Salak, I'm gonna read verse 6. Um, first Salakia, 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 6. And it came to pass as they came, when David was returned from the slaughter of the Philistines, that the woman came out of all cities of Israel, singing and dancing. Hey, so when we get the victory through the Spirit, man, all praises to the Most High. The Most High blessed David and Saul with the victory. Hey, the women came out of all cities of Israel. Hey, this is like hundreds of thousands of women, right, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tabrets, with joy, and with instruments of music, man. So they were kind of getting into that thing, man, singing and dancing and with instruments of music. All right, so hey, these are just a few mighty acts that some of our mighty foremothers did through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and most High willing this was edifying, right? Most High willing this was edifying. Let me get James 2 and close out through the spirit, right? James chapter 2, verse. Let's see where I want to get. James chapter 2, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it have not works, is dead, being alone. Man, so you can't just have faith in the Lord without having works, man. So women, you have to have works. Just like the men have to have works. The men have to labor, study, make videos, teach, right? Build up their household, right? Women also have to have works. All right, verse 18. Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Shew me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. And so that's how you show your faith. It's through your works, man. It's through doing the things that were previously mentioned, right? Through possibly making garments, through cooking, right? Through sewing on fringes, through singing and dancing to the Lord, man. Gathering up women to you may start a choir in that thing, right? All of these are mighty acts of the Lord, man, and all of these are done to praise the Most High God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right, so with that, I just want to say, La'alo now with Yahweh, Bashim Mashak Yahushua, La'alo now Kaya Hashem Katan Babad, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Right, all praise to the Most High. Most High one, this was edifying through the Spirit. Right, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.